Put it on me.
When the world was happy, when the world was happy, I wanna tell you about a dream I had. I wanna tell you about a dream I had. When the world was happy, when the world was happy, I wanna tell you about a dream I had. I wanna tell you about a dream I had. When the world was happy, when the world was happy. I wanna tell you about a dream I had. I wanna tell you about a dream I had. When the world was happy, when the world was happy. I wanna tell you about a dream I had. I wanna tell you about a dream I had. When the world was happy, world was happy. When the world was happy. And I know we'll get there. I can see the way. Yeah, I know we'll get there someday. I wanna tell you about a dream I had. I wanna tell you about a dream I had. When the world was happy, world was happy. When the world was happy, world was happy. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I wanna tell you about a dream I had. I wanna tell you about a dream I had. When the world was happy, world was happy. When the world was happy, world was happy. I wanna tell you about a dream I had. I wanna tell you about a dream I had. When the world was happy, when the world was happy.
On the bright light, it was you inside. Be no spilling on your thigh. I try it twice before the night. Did you reach, guy, for a taste of my vodka on the rocks attire? I could start a forest fire. Quickly fell into your face, but those lips seemed to know my name. And I was all your clubbing heart. Thought nothing else could fall apart. I had my eyes on you. I had my eyes on you. Where did you go? Where did you go? I had my eyes on you. I had my eyes on you. Where did you go? Where did you go? Don't you know I am no money mile? I ain't got a rack of mine. I'm just living for the time. Hope you think twice for you double mine. You already know I'm here to take you home. Quickly Where did you go? Where did you go? I had my eyes on you. I had my eyes on you. Where did you go? Where did you go? I had my eyes on you. I had my eyes on you. Where did you go? Where did you go? I had my eyes on you. I had my eyes on you. Where did you go? Where did you
Never enough. You will always find those days when it's rough, but you need to feel existent. Keep it real and be persistent. No one can win if you wake up trying to get out of your skin. You're the one you have to live with. Slow it down, don't overthink it. There are people that won't accept a no from you. There are those who won't see you as a person, just success. Don't give in if you feel that it's not right for you. Don't you do it. It's tough to play the part in somebody's show. And no, it's always no, don't try to convince me. It's hard to face the world when words are left unheard. Wake me when it's quiet. Wake me when it's quiet. On a better day, come wake me up. On a better day, come wake me up. On a better day, come wake me up. Wake me when it's quiet. Pushing the edge, just to give your crowd a smile on their face. There are levels of emotions, just don't let it get you over. There are people that will accept a no from you. There are thousands who see you as a person, not success. Don't give in if you feel that it's not right for you. Don't you do it. No, it's tough to play the part in somebody's show. I know it's always no, don't try to convince me. It's hard to face the world when words are left unheard. Wake me when it's quiet. Wake me when it's quiet. On a better day, come wake me up. On a better day, come wake me up. On a better day, come wake me up. Wake me when it's quiet. It's tough to play the part in somebody's show, and no is always no. Don't try to convince
Aaron's always been here. What are you talking about, Bunny?
words I left
just
unheard.
let's just play our music.
Take me
So
when
we
it's
have
quiet.
turn it down. Stop sharing. Pause. Hello, everybody. Welcome.
Welcome.
It is the day before St. Patrick's Day. Happy St. Patrick's Day. It is March 16th, 2023. And today we're going to talk about domestic terror. What it means to me, what I see as it is, what I see it as, and what anybody else, or, hopefully kind of break the spell of everybody that thinks that, that we're not, kind of looked upon if we speak up and speak against. That's what they want to make us out to be as terrorists.
Right.
And there are some citizens or people, they don't like to call themselves citizens, but if anybody's ever heard of a sovereign citizen, that's basically the same thing.
Yeah. Well, they do consider themselves citizens, but sovereign.
People that are studying the law books and actually figuring out, and just studying the Constitution of the United States, and knowing that there's certain things you can't get away with, or the law can't get away with, as far as that's not the law, but some law enforcement.
Well, and here's the whole thing: it's code enforcement, really, and ultimately, when we start looking into when these transfer of ideas really started happening, and the origin of when they came to be, et cetera, you start to realize that all these things really were kind of set up to work against us. But then we believed it could work for us. And then we set up whole big belief systems around that idea. And then when you look at it and you realize the reality of it, then that's when you realize, wow, this isn't right.
Yeah, well, it just, if anybody's ever been on the internet for a long period of time, on the YouTubes, and really it goes down rabbit holes, you're going to run into the natural man or natural woman. And that's what this is. It's basically saying, we have a right to be free.
Yes.
And you're not going to take my freedoms away.
Right.
And that's with everything, especially, I mean, it's not only a constitutional right, it's a God-given right.
Right.
Nobody gets to rule over you unless you give them consent, and then they can rule over you. It's there's a lot of movies made about it, a lot of stories. Excuse me. The Matrix, for one, trying to get out of that Matrix where everybody just, it's an illusionary world, illusory world. And there's a lot of things that we thought were law and that we actually had to just abide by. And then there's a lot of things that aren't, but they just wrote it into, it's more of like the way the sovereign citizen or natural man views it, natural woman, is you don't need a driver's license. You don't need to be registered unless you're using that vehicle commercially.
Right. Like if I'm making business,
all these little fees and taxes and things that they're giving you, a lot of them are illegal.
Yes. It is theft.
They are against
the
Constitution,
and
against your rights. And that doesn't mean we shouldn't pay and help pay for taxes. And
right.
I mean, really, it should all be one sales tax, in my opinion.
Yeah, right.
It should all be just taken out in sales tax. If you want to take a little bit more, go ahead. But that's really the only tax we should be paying. Right. And they should be using it properly. I mean, right now, the federal government, at least, is spending trillions, almost trillions, billions, over in Ukraine, trying to help them out.
Right.
Yet we have homeless people everywhere.
Yeah. And we have water that's screwed. We
don't
in Michigan.
Have water.
Ohio
clean
just
water
had a
pipes.
huge poison fucking.
Because they haven't been changed in I don't know how long, and some people have done it, but our infrastructure is totally fucked up.
Yeah.
I've noticed like some things getting done around here, like just being in California.
Right.
They were changing out power poles. They changed, but the thing is like, then I go on some roads and I'm like, why is this road so like so many potholes? If I was going faster than 15 miles an hour, I'd probably, break something on my car.
Right.
It shouldn't be that. What I'm saying is misappropriated spending.
Yes.
That none of us agree to.
Right.
I mean, really, shouldn't there be a vote for all of us? Really, now at this point in time, we are on the internet. If we want to show up and vote for something, we can vote for it very easily.
Right.
No, they don't want it that way. They want it archaic and old, so they can cheat it. So they can, and not to say they couldn't cheat that system that I'm speaking of.
Right.
But anyway, back to what I was saying. That's like a concealed carry permit, and this is my opinion, but it is by law. The right to bear arms is the right to bear arms.
Yes. Plain and simple.
And will not be
Yep.
impeded upon.
No, I write the right to bear arms.
You don't need a concealed weapons permit.
As, you know
like
what I mean?
really,
Yeah.
those are bylaws that are made over those laws. There aren't laws. They're
exactly.
but you can't do this. But if you're somebody who believes in simple and, it's basically this and that's it.
Yeah.
Like there's, I mean, don't hurt each other.
Yeah.
Be good to each other.
Yeah.
Don't try to take from each other.
Right.
These are laws we should all follow.
Mm-hmm.
And if we don't, we get the karma for it.
That's right.
So tonight we're going to show you a little, I've got a clip that we're going to talk about for a minute. And if you want to go ahead and explain it while I'm getting it ready.
Which clip do you have?
We're talking about a man who is a sovereign citizen.
Oh, yes.
And so is his mother. So you want to kind of give him
so we're talking about the Farmington case of Chase Allen, who was shot and killed at the post office. And he was initially accosted because he did not have a proper license plate. So this guy died because he didn't have a proper license plate, basically. And the FBI, in a few different stories, want to make him out to look like a domestic terror, right? Because he doesn't want to have to follow those rules that are not laws.
And this is where they're taking it with everybody that dissents against anything. And then when you see corruption and you see the bullshit, and you speak up about it and you have a critical mind.
Anyway, his mother was already in court with the same town.
That plays into it, though. The whole natural. Anyway,
yes.
Go ahead.
His mother was already in federal court with the town for the same thing. So she's already suing the county and the city for this particular reason that her son just died for.
So we're going to play this clip now. Are you ready?
Yep.
All right. I got to push play. Yeah.
Farmington for the 25-year-old man who was shot and killed by police on Wednesday afternoon. Chase Allen was pulled over for driving without a license plate. Police say he believed he was independent of the laws of the land and that he did not need to cooperate with the officers. Fox 13 News reporter Emily Tenser spoke to those who have known him for years.
Farmington police say that during an attempt to get Allen out of the car, an officer spotted a gun. The police chief says then there was a struggle, then gunshots. An empty holster was found on Allen's right hip and a handgun on the floor on the driver's side. The family of Chase Allen holds each other close as they imagine a life moving forward without their son.
It's beyond fathomable what just happened.
Friends, family, and peers of the 25-year-old gathered together in the post office parking lot Sunday afternoon, the same location where Allen was shot to death by Farmington police officers days ago.
He was doing the best he could to love everyone and to help us keep those freedoms alive.
With signs saying 7 shots to the chest and demands for the release of body cam video, the group marched half a mile to the Farmington police station.
My brother Chase Lindy Allen did not deserve to die. He deserves to still be here, and he is a sweet angel of God.
Those that knew him say Allen was reliable, respectful, and not one to antagonize.
Chase was just a great guy, and there's leaving a hole in a lot of people's hearts.
A memorial now sits on East State Street, right where the shooting happened. Allen's loved ones finished the vigil writing messages to the young man and releasing the balloons into the sky.
Justice for Chase! Justice for Chase! Justice for Chase! Justice for Chase!
The group plans to keep protesting in front of the Farmington police station. They'll be there Monday at 10 a.m. Right now, 5 officers are
That's kind of basically the story. That's more of it. We actually saw the actual footage.
Yes, we did see the body cam.
The body cam footage. When it first came out, it was by the channel. Here's the Deal.
Yeah.
Here's the Deal channel, where he does like a lot of, or he does a lot of police auditors, or just city audit. It's not just police. It's every system.
Yeah.
And it seems like they're kind of shifting it to this natural person that can live by laws that we don't. we don't need certain laws. There's
Right.
plenty of laws on the books that are just retarded,
ignored anyway.
and plenty of laws on the
Yeah.
books that they should be, using and enforcing, but
And they're not, right?
not to the people that have a lot of money.
Basically, when you look at a lot of these extra laws and really what they are is they're codes. They're like mandates. They're suggestions, right? I suggest you drive 55 miles per hour on this road. Otherwise, it could get bendy and it could be dangerous for you. Great suggestion. I suggest you pay me $600 because you made an impact on my state to register your car. Theft, right? Understanding that rules and regulations are there for a reason. Yes. Cooperating.
However, a
with
lot of
someone
them are created so they can create more revenue. A lot of them.
Yes.
The ones that we deal with on a daily basis, like getting tickets, and I understand keeping things safe.
Mhm.
I appreciate that.
Yes.
However,
Right.
if you go so deep into the law books, you actually realize, well, these guys do. And I've looked a lot into it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not, I'm not in the know enough about that law, but it's Black's Law, basically. It's a Black's Law book, which is admiralty law, which is basically kind of a corporate takeover happened a long time ago
Yes.
and made the United States a corporation.
That's exactly it.
And in that corporation, they have these laws that are admiralty law, which is basically company policy.
Yep.
You ever notice in all your bills, and we're not going to go too deep into it,
Right.
but just pay attention. And you really will get a weak answer for this if you ever ask anybody, like a law clerk or anything, or every bill you have. If you pay attention, all of your names are in capital. All of your letters in your name are capital letters.
Yep.
That's not the way you write your name.
No.
They're basically using that as a straw man, and when you sign papers to that,
you're giving it to the straw man.
You are signing to the straw man. You're saying,
Yeah.
I'm responsible for this person.
Mm-hmm. Or for this thing.
It goes very deep.
It does.
It's a big, deep rabbit hole because there's a lot of laws
Right.
that we don't realize.
Right.
But it's basically kind of a capture of our system of what we really were. We were free.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
somewhat.
We've always had our troubling waters here.
But that's really, it's the best playbook to use though against because they're really trying to with this whole great reset. This is coming from Davos and a lot of other places. This is coming from global government right now.
Yes.
All these laws, they're global. It's a global corporation.
Yes.
Well, corporations, they're all in, and they are using this false law against us.
Right.
And adding to it.
Yes. To control us.
Yeah.
To keep us in line, to make as much money on us as possible. Have you ever noticed that when they don't like what a certain person's doing, they'll call them a useless eater? That person could be an amazing human being in their community.
Or something.
And their community can love them and think they do great things. But to those people over there, they're just a useless eater.
So that's what this guy was coming from. His mom is Chase Allen. His mother, I can't remember what's her name, first name. His mother.
I cannot remember.
Patty, was it Patty?
I think it might be. I can't remember her first name.
She got a ticket for the same thing because they basically were challenging it, saying,
yes.
Which is fine. You may get put in jail for that, but you shouldn't get murdered for it.
Right.
Right. There was 5 cops shooting at him. I did see the body cam.
Yes.
Footage.
It was murder.
And it was, and then you look deeper into it, and this is just our opinion. It seems like it was planned because she was suing the city for it.
Yep. And they were just about.
And that sounds like a mob move. Doesn't that sound like a mob move? Like what was that whole? You guys remember that Netflix show or documentary about the guy that was suing the police department or suing the city?
Yeah.
For getting falsely accused and put in prison for years, came out, sued the city, and then all of a sudden he was a murderer
again,
and he murdered somebody, and they got his nephew. They coerced him into saying things that he didn't mean or what weren't true.
Right.
And so he's still stuck in prison.
Yes, he is.
I'm not saying either way, innocent or not. You can watch the documentary.
In my opinion,
and it's pretty compelling to me. If you watch it a few times. This happens all the time in communities, in small communities.
Yes.
In big communities.
Yep.
And I feel like that's what happened to this kid.
Yeah.
You look at all those pictures. looks like an upstanding. I mean, that doesn't mean everything, but I'm just
Right.
saying, you know, as a
Well, no,
psychic,
and
I
look,
kind of pick up this kid
yeah.
he was being what we would call a patriot,
Yes.
being patriotic
Yes.
and showing that he didn't have to follow the law, the fake
Their
laws
law.
that were given.
To follow the law and be a good productive person
there's
in the
there's
community.
people that have challenged these things and challenged officers that they weren't doing anything. They were filming the like cars and the police cars
Yep.
that belong to the public,
Right? Because we paid for it.
and they were just that's what these are. These are audits people are going around because there's been a lot. Trust me, I've been hassled 2 or 3 times by police officers. I'm not saying all cops are bad cops,
No, of course
but
not.
if there's a lot of if there's good cops, why aren't they speaking up?
Right.
Like
Where
when
are
they
they?
see, and there are, I'm sure there are.
There
I'm
are.
sure
I've
there
seen a few. I've
But
seen
we
some,
can't just be so one-sided to where we just, well, they broke the law. This kid wasn't driving without a license plate.
Yeah.
And was shot to death
Mhm.
after being pulled over. Had a gun, but guess what? You have that right. That is your right.
He was trying to
He
explain.
didn't have it
Yep.
branded. He wasn't brandishing it. It
Nope,
was
he
on the
was not.
floor.
Yep.
He had his holster, and the gun was on the floor. He didn't touch the gun.
See, now look,
He rolled his window down just
just
a
enough to
couple
talk to
inches,
him, give him
and
some
that really
respect.
agitated them.
Yep.
And then they just turned into thugs, like a gang mob
Well, because here's the whole thing.
with guns.
This is the way I seen the whole thing, and I've not had a lot of trouble with police, but I've not had a lot of great stuff out of police either. Right? Like I've been traumatized. And here's the thing. This person that believed he had the right to go above and beyond the legal aspects of whatever to invade this person's space because he didn't have a tag branding who he was. He didn't like the way it looked. He didn't appreciate that this man was enforcing the fact
He
that I don't
basically
have to
said,
answer your
you have
question.
no reasonable suspicion other than my
Exactly.
license plate.
I've
Why are
hurt
you
nobody.
treating me like a criminal?
I've done
Because that's
nothing.
still a traffic violation. It's not a crime. It's a code.
Yes. It's what we've taught our police officers to look for.
Well, that's just what they're hired to do.
Exactly.
You think they're supposed to, well, and I know sheriffs, all of them have to swear to the Constitution.
Yes. And yet none of them are following the actual
Because
Constitution.
maybe they're learning the wrong way.
And that's what I'm
being
saying.
trained
It
the
is
wrong
in their
way.
education.
They're being hired the wrong way. They're not hiring
Yes.
the right people that can actually
Exactly.
mitigate and lessen the risk
Yep.
and the danger.
See, now, if I, watching that tape, really wanted
Not
to give
saying they're not in
some
danger, but that's
good criticism, I'd have said to the officer, okay, dude, but like, maybe, I mean, because he called him back up 27 seconds into the fucking confrontation. Like, he didn't even feel it out for a minute
he just called
before
in
he
for
called
backup.
in more bullies.
5 cops. Didn't he ask for 5
5.
officers? Yeah.
There were 5 of them there. And then this cop didn't want to listen to what Alan was trying to say. Instead, he was trying to speak over him and tell him what was going to happen no matter what. And then, when forcing his way into this gentleman's space, he saw a gun. And instead of waiting to see what was going to happen, he calls back, oh, gun, gun, gun. Everyone starts shooting.
Yeah, just right away. Like not even, he wasn't holding the weapon at him. He had both of his hands up. I think he had one hand up and one was
he
on
was
his...
going to his belt because they were reaching in for him. The gun was down on the floor. I know they want to claim that it was because he was nuh-uh. His hand was still right here when
they were trying
bullets
to
were
rip him out
already
of the car,
shooting.
which I've been a part of this, like not that violently, but where I had to mitigate the management myself and like knowing that there's hotheads, seeing a hothead and just go, okay, I'm gonna search your car. I was going fishing. I had a tackle box in the back. It had a fillet knife in it. What's this knife for? I don't know. It's in the tackle box. It's a fishing knife.
Right.
I mean, but just, I got all this recorded, so you can't do it.
Yeah.
Like he was basically saying, I got all this recorded. This was when I was, 18 years old. I have all this recorded, so you can't sue me or you can't, like, why would you even say something like that? Because you treated me like shit. You went through my car. You treated me like
you
a criminal.
invaded my privacy and my rights. And you can go ahead and edit your little tape
and those
right
things
there and make
happen
it
to
look like
people
anything
all
you
the
want.
time, especially in like inner cities. Somebody gets mistaken for another, or they just get, profiled as, well, you're just a criminal.
And anytime a corporation asks for a person to be removed, a police will remove that person no matter what. They don't take anything into consideration. I have seen the elderly have heart attacks in police cars because they were asked to leave a store. They were
God,
ill.
remember
They
the
were ill
the
for
whole
crying out loud.
last 3 years when they arrested grandmas and
Yes,
throwing them to the
dude. This is
ground.
the shit that I'm talking
This
about.
is where we're at. We're
Following
think about
guidelines and
like
rules
I'm
that
gonna
really aren't
keep
legal.
using this. I know it's always a movie, but Star Wars. Think about Star Wars and the premise of Star Wars. There's an empire.
Yep.
I.e., where we live. we all live under it.
Yes.
And then there's Darth Vader. There's evil overlords. That's what we're dealing with right now in real life, like reality.
Yep.
And we need to see that. Now, like I said, I'm not against all police officers.
No, of course not.
My cousin he's a detective, homicide detective.
I come from a
Sure,
military
he does great
family,
work.
you
He's a
know?
good guy. I've known him. We knew him when we were kids. He was a really good guy. Always a good kid. Always made the right decisions. So I'm sure like that's the type you need there.
Yeah.
And we don't get a lot of that. A lot of times we get like people that are
They were picked on,
very traumatized
messed
already,
with,
or
and
we're already in war scene, war, veterans that they come back
and they're
what
not
else am I going to
taught
do? And
how
I'm
to
not.
assimilate back into life properly. I'm sorry.
Well, if they're not, they shouldn't be cops.
I mean, I know many vets that
There's
were
a
able
certain
to,
personality,
but
which I know that with that personality comes that aggressive, like they're able to do it. But that type A personality needs to have dignity, needs to have conscience. And some of them just don't.
right.
Some of them are really into it for the excitement of it, which is fine if you're in it for the excitement, but there's a responsibility to that too. You have a responsibility to the people that you're protecting and serving, right?
It's a protect and serve. And
that doesn't mean you don't deal with assholes and you don't deal with scum. You do. But not everybody's scum.
Exactly.
And not everybody's an asshole.
Right.
Some people just know the law. And they may know it a little bit better than you.
Right.
So that's where we're at with that one. And it's sad. It's sad
It's very sad.
Way, but
and it's upsetting.
it happens all the time. It happens all the time. It's getting pressed on. It's going viral on YouTube right now.
And like I said,
and I think that's about 15 minutes away from where I grew up.
Yeah.
Like it's like I'm 15 minutes north of Farmington, Utah, which is where it happened.
Oh, yeah.
I go to Farmington all the time. That's the only
where
place.
Lagoon is.
That's where Lagoon. That's like the only theme park that we have in Utah is there. I think it's the only. They have carnivals come through something. That's where the jail is, police headquarters.
Too,
that's where the sheriff's county sheriff is. Yeah, so yeah, there's hotheads and cowboys that want to just act like dipshits because they're on an adrenaline rush, and I guarantee you a lot of them go through that and get accustomed to it, get addicted to it, but think things through. Like, damn,
you should not be
always
in the role
always
of
go for the least
unless you're really making
amount of resistance.
That's
always.
Right. You want to be ready to protect yourself.
But these people that act like thugs sometimes, they act like bullies. And that's what happened with here. It's what if you want to go watch the footage, I'm not going to play it on here because the podcast is just going to be audio only. So
yeah,
nobody's going to be able to see it. But I would say, look up the Farmington, Utah shooting, police officer shooting, or Chase Allen. Yeah. And I think there's body cam footage, but they're trying to demand more. Maybe they took it down.
Maybe. Well, I know that in the county meeting, when the public got to speak, they were not responding to anybody. And they were flat out told they won't respond. They're just letting you go in there and
Let's
talk.
Play that. Let me find it.
Which, for me, in my perception, the way I feel about this is it's they're placating, right? They're letting everyone say what they're going to say, but they're going to do what they want to do. They don't feel like they have to answer to us at all. And we hired these motherfuckers. We're the ones that supposedly voted them in, correct? But we can just go in there and we can speak our piece and they don't have to say a word to us. They don't have to acknowledge anything. And I find that extremely frustrating. And I think that anyone dealing with anything like this, especially on a personal level, would find it so.
Just finding the video. Keep going. Keep riffing there.
It just, yeah, it's frustrating. And I know I've dealt with the government through like DCFS, right? Child Protective Services. God, my whole fucking life, right? They could never do anything to take my children from me, obviously. I'm not like some terrible person or whatever. However, they would harass me and harass me and harass me constantly. And my biggest problem was I did not know I could say, get the fuck on, bitches.
Yeah, F-bomber.
Yes.
F-bomber, chill.
But on the for real though, you know what I mean? Like all that harassment my whole life, that's the way I feel about it.
Yeah.
Had I realized, I could have said, no, you don't get to come in and search my house. Of course I have everything my children need. My life would have been easier. Anyway.
So, share this with. All right, keep going.
All right. Oh, he's trying to share the page still. But anyway, I'm just, you know, for me, I got very frustrated with certain aspects or areas of code enforcement.
So this is from the channel, the Here's the Deal channel.
Yes,
Can't remember his name, but he does some pretty good work too.
he does.
At 565 South, 500 East. It's really refreshing to see all these young people today that came and were sworn in for their oath of office. And I think they're going to be taking it very seriously. And they're going to do a really good job. They're young and they haven't been exposed to the evil that's overtaken most of the government. I'm not speaking about the land around the restaurant. I think that's a very historical building and nothing should ever happen to it. And I'm here to speak about what the city and the county, mainly the city, what the city is going to do to train their code enforcement officers to keep from killing our kids. This has to end. This cannot continue. And there's a lot of training available. But the city needs to take a stand and dig into this. If this was your own kid or your grandkid, your nephew, how would you feel? That poor kid just had no license plate. No license plate on his car. And it took 5 code enforcement officers, dragged him out of his car and killed him. I can't even imagine how his family feels. This needs to be taken care of. I'd like to know what steps, measurable steps, the city can take to make sure this never happens again. Could you appoint a committee to research this and find out what's going on? Could you find out how it got so out of hand? It's really on you guys, you know, it's really on you guys, your bosses, and it goes right up the chain. This needs to stop. I guess I'm out of time, so I turn over whatever's left.
So just so that we can keep going and you guys can hear, it really is a short video, but I know with the way they like to, you know, monetize things, etc. Anyway, here in just a moment, there's going to be a lady that brings out certain particular facts that I myself found intriguing when I started looking into this. And after her, you'll hear something even better. But anyway, Let's hear what facts she has to bring. And no response comes.
I turn over whatever's left to the people.
Carolyn, I'm going to apologize in advance.
That's okay. Carolyn Hill, that's fine. I'll help.
I wanted to say it, but I got to stay.
Leave you Benitez.
Yes.
Carolyn, leave you Benitez, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you, it's amazing. And I just wanted to say thank you guys for your volunteerism to serve the community. I know it's not a tough job being on the city council or a mayor. I hope you received my contact note that I sent out the other day to you, outlining some concerns we as the public have with respect to the Chase Allen. But before we get started, I'd like to ask you, is this an open meeting under Chapter 52 of Utah Legislative Code 201?
This is an open meeting.
It is an open meeting. Is this an emergency meeting under Chapter 202?
No.
Okay. Under Chapter 203, written minutes of open meetings, you, sir, are allowed to have the public talk about anything. So are you saying you absolutely won't allow us to talk about Chase Allen and you're limiting us to this? Because I would say that that's an abridgment of our First Amendment rights to redress of grievances. And the murder of a 25-year-old on the streets of Farmington, that's a pretty good grievance.
I think we've already heard from 3 or 4 of you, and we haven't shut you down. So.
Okay, thank you. Now, if you can indulge me for a moment.
Now, understand, this is a small town.
Yes.
Like, it's a very small town.
Very
I would
small.
say probably 30 to 40,000 people live there.
If that, yep.
Maybe more now.
And
But,
it has that.
I mean, they are like, this shit doesn't happen in Farmington.
Right.
Farmington didn't want to develop with stores and new, big box stores or whatever, in their town for years.
They have fought against it.
Fighting it.
Mhm.
And that finally happened like 10 years ago. They started building. But
And
that's
notice,
what I'm trying to let you know what the town is like.
Right.
They're very, I mean, they're out there. They all work their butts off. They're all pretty settled in there. So it's a
Yes.
pretty quiet, small
Yes.
town. But it is kind of a center for like all of the government buildings and where you need to go to get your, go to the DMV, or it's
Right.
just one of those central
housing,
areas.
et
for
cetera,
that.
right. And
It used to be just mostly courthouses and like,
right. And notice how she was trying to clarify just exactly what kind of meeting is this. You're saying it's a public meeting, but is it this public meeting? Or is it this public meeting? Right? So she came in prepared.
kids.
Thank you guys again for your service. You notice I sent you a note. Marshall, thank you for your comments. What if it was your son or daughter? And challenging what we've been conditioned to accept our rights in your home, and your first reaction is to shoot him. Is that how you run your family? Is it? Because I'll tell you that traffic infractions are not law, a violation of the law. People v. Battle, Thompson v. Smith, the highest courts in the land have deemed that personal travel of we the people, unrestricted, not in commerce, is available to everyone without papers. This is not 1930s Germany. Without papers. Now, granted, I do agree that a certain amount of civil structure and infrastructure is necessary to maintain the nice civil society that we have. And we don't want people wantonly driving vehicles that are unsafe or in an unsafe manner or just mowing, fellow citizens over. I grant that the police provide that framework, or that's their intention. I grant that. But when 5 officers murder a 25-year-old on the street in public, that's an excessive overuse of their authority. And as the notes I sent to you via your little contact sheet, under 18 U.S.C. 1512, tampering with a witness, his family is suing you guys, possibly. He's definitely suing the Farmington Police Department and the city attorney in federal court. The fact that he's murdered on the street right before their court case, which was supposed to be the 17th, that's witness tampering. They murdered a witness. Now, you may not see it that way. Then that's going to be up to the final decision making of the incident team. I heard that the coroner ruled it as a homicide. I'm looking at the video. I spent 10 years in the Navy. I can't believe this is the tyranny that exists in our cities and towns. I'm astounded by this. I've seen more freedom in the other 25 countries I've been than we have right now here in the United States. And it has to stop. We need to take back our people. We the people power. Government, you're supposed to do our bidding, not your own bidding. And it's supposed to be within the framework of the United States and Utah Constitution. And there is nothing in either one of those that says that the wholesale slaughter of citizens on the street for a code violation is within their rights. I think I've made my point, and I appreciate your accommodation. My name is Kayla Lee Dominguez. I do live in Ogden, but I work here periodically in Farmington. And I personally now am afraid to come into your town to do my business because of your police. Now you all, particularly you, sir, are responsible for the conduct of your officers. You're the executive branch and the police report to you directly. You're responsible for their training, for their misdeeds, and the lack of adequate training. And if you looked at any of the video related to this thing, my officer friends here have laid out a very good case to me and to fellow citizens on YouTube videos and to the media who refuse to report that, by the way. They keep reporting the fact that, oh, the crazy sovereign citizen thing. I don't care if he claimed to be Mickey Mouse. He doesn't deserve to be shot on the street at the post office over a license plate. As I said, traffic infractions are not a violation of law. People be mad. Thompson v. Smith, read it yourself. I sent you all the way to a book about right to travel, outlining what our rights are with respect to that. The question you should all be asking is, why don't I know that information? Why do my police officers not know that information? What has gone on in our education and legal framework that has kept that information from us? Thank you for your indulgence. I appreciate it.
So, again, I have to bring to your attention that this is one of those meetings, they don't have to respond. They just have to let you say your piece, and that's it. And that's great. At least we're saying our pieces. I am so glad to have seen so many people out there stating their cause and standing up for it, because really, we have been taken advantage of for so long. We've been propagandized. We've been fucking
because they still
ritualized.
believe that. I mean,
Right.
They still believe that talking to the government is going to help them, and in a good way.
Yes.
But I don't. I mean, I lean more toward no. I think it's all crap.
Well, see, and this is yeah.
That's
why I want to bring that to your attention.
Dependent upon. Go ahead.
Understand that and here comes the next person, and they do not love how he tries to make them engage. Anyway, so pay attention to this, because when he tries to engage them in what he's actually saying to make sure they are hearing him, watch their response.
You want me to play it?
Mm-hmm.
English, like the language you're speaking, English.
Okay.
How's the audio video? Please let me know really quick.
I don't live in your city. I live in the city. I have a doctorate degree. I served our country for 20 years in special forces. I'm Ranger qualified. And I have a criminal investigation degree from the military. I want to see a show of hands how many of you approve of what happened this last Wednesday on March 1st when this man was murdered. How many approve?
You can give us comment, but we don't respond that way.
Really? I thought this was a democratic society. I fought your rights for 20 years.
This is where we're taking public comment. You're welcome to address it.
Okay, I'm going to public comment. What happened? And you know, that's a coward's way out. I'll just let you know that. I look at your eyes,
Please don't be insulting. Please don't be insulting.
I'm not being insulted. If you
How
take
many
any coward, if you,
how many of a coward is
I said that's the coward's way out. I didn't call it a coward.
Excuse me.
And you're being argumentative.
You're being argumentative. Just asking not to be.
Now, did you hear how he's all of a sudden they're not non-responsive. Look at them. Like, look at their faces. Look at that paused face right there. They know there's something. She's got trouble. She's got troubling feelings on her right now, from what I'm seeing. Like she's trying to gulp it back. Anyway.
Insulting in your comments. I don't think that's expecting too much. But
For you that are LDS, so you know my background, I worked in the temple for 2 years. I've done 815,000 meetings to the temple. I believe in personal freedom. And what I saw, and you have to know this, the news media did not report everything that occurred with that young man. That man was dead. No one's talking about this in 4 minutes. In 27 seconds, in 4 minutes, he was dead on the asphalt. In 27 seconds, the officer that first pulled him over called for backup. And I'll call him a coward. I don't care if you like it or not. Because he has a gun, a billy club, spray, a knife, a bulletproof vest, handcuffs, a taser. What is he afraid of? And why did he go so fast? Your police department needs de-escalation training really bad. And you should be there when they get it, but they're not applying it. And how does 5 police officers all show up at this call within two and a half minutes? That never happens. That's not a reality. This was planned. How did the chief all of a sudden show up down there? Why did your people turn off their cameras in 6 minutes? That's tampering with evidence. That policy needs to be thrown out. Because it was designed originally when you have your cameras on, that they're supposed to be on from the time they take it out of the docking station until the evening or whatever their shifts are, they put it back in. They're not to turn them off. You need to find those answers.
time. Okay.
And who just said time? What?
Okay, so for those who are not seeing this, there's a whole board of people. This is the city officials. And this guy's talking about, he's an investigator. He's somebody
He was in the military, and
he's
20
basically
years
calling it out as
more.
cold-blooded murder.
Yep.
And talking about and that, so they're calling time. See how they're just calling time out. No, you can't talk about that anymore, like a game.
Right.
And this is how a lot of these people treat it when they have that power.
Yes.
This is about power and not knowing how to wield it.
Right.
Or wielding it improperly. All the way around.
So there are some people that find when you give them that piece of paper or that badge or that whatever, they've now been given your power and they now have something over you, right? As opposed to going, okay, we have a deal now. I pay your bills. You make sure it stays safe around here. Yep. Understanding that is important.
It's
this
almost
military
over.
man
It's almost over.
has watched it. He has made his assessment, and I agree. Anyway, let's finish it up.
We'll finish it up, and then we'll talk about it for a minute.
I think what I'm saying is very important. And these are critical points that the news media carries the water for the police departments. You have a major problem. I know what I'm talking about. You have a major problem in your city with your police department. And this was premeditated murder.
Okay, so that's the story. And you know what? Me and Norma lived in Utah. We grew up in Utah. So
we did. And there's a couple of things going on in Utah that have got our attention.
Yeah, that are happening, and it's really corrupt. It's the government part of things is very corrupt, and that's everywhere. You know, it's really money moves things. So whoever's got the most money, is the one that's going to, get the good move or get the good luck.
Right.
And this is really straight up just a mob hit.
Yes, that's the way I saw it. I'm sorry. Because here's the thing, even though this poor
A
kid was
mob
being a
hit that
little
like
difficult,
and see,
and look, for all of us brainwashed folks, we're going, but if he'd have just cooperated,
yeah.
oh my golly. Well, then he'd
And
been
sorry about the sound issues. It was
unjustly
done like with the
thrown
phone.
in jail because he didn't pay a fee for something he doesn't want to use.
Yeah.
And so it comes down to that freedom. And yes, y'all, that's what we really are here for, is to fight for our sovereignty, our freedom, to understand that we have that connection to everything, to the divine, to we encompass it all. When we do allow someone to have a role of protection or a role of whatever it is they are in our lives, that is not giving them permission to overtake our lives or overjudge us or say what we can and cannot do. I will take your advice. If you feel like this would be safer than that thing, okay, well, I'll take it into consideration. However, I still feel like I can live my life without that thing. So I'm not going to I'm not going to follow through with that. And that should be, especially here in the United States, our choice. I'm not hurting anyone. I'm not taking anything from anyone. I'm not, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not like being a detriment. I'm not being a menace to society. But because you don't like the way it looks to you, or because you don't like the way it's playing out in your mind, you have the right now to take my life because you're not sure if I might take yours. I've never hurt anyone. I was actually following the rules. It just didn't look pretty. Question worth asking.
Anyway, I forgot to mention the value for value system. We work under the value for value system. So those time, talent, and treasure. So you see value in us, please hit that link tree. If you'd like to leave a donation, become a producer, leave a note with it so we can super chat, so to speak. Go to my link tree, my PayPal, my Venmo, my Cash App are there. If you'd like to leave a donation, thank you very much for anybody or everybody who sticks around, who shares.
Who engages?
Who engages? But time, talent, and
yeah.
treasure, meaning time, giving your time, your effort, sharing this out, giving a rating, giving a review over on Spotify or any other platform, podcast platform you may be on. Just giving your time, sharing, hitting that button, hitting that like button when we're live.
Right.
Sharing it with your friends.
Right.
Talent, meaning if you have some kind of technical expertise and you can help the show and you'd like to donate some of that time and donate your talent to us to help the show, please do. And send me a message. You can send me a message on Fowler, FOWLERAR at nope, FOWLERAR 0 at gmail.com. That's FOWLERAR 0 at gmail.com.
I was gonna do one.
So if you can do clips, if you can do, you can do clips or clip out the show, parts that you like to hear, or parts that you thought were the best.
If you made a clip.
Make a clip like a 1 minute clip. We can turn it into a reel, or whatever you can do. If you have artwork to donate, you're inspired by the show, let us know.
If you have a topic you'd like us to talk on, if you have advice on things that we could do to, grow better or whatever, we're open for all of it.
And then
appreciate all
what
of
is treasure? Let them know what the treasure is.
Treasure is simply if you have nothing but monetary means, we are grateful for them.
Yes.
It helps us to grow. It helps us to live. It helps us to do everything. Right?
Helps us to keep the show going and keep talking about and keep breaking those spells. So if you do have something of a donation or contribution, make sure you hit that link tree, linktr.ee/psychic shaman 333. Also, if you want to find me, I am www.psychicshaman333.com. I am a psychic. I'm a medium. I'm a shaman. And then Norma.
I am a ceremony specialist. I do mostly weddings, but I also do baptisms and moon ceremonies. Any kind of ceremony that you feel like you want someone to officiate for you so you can be fully engaged, I am your gal. I do hypnosis sessions. I help guide you through your own mind, find spaces in which you can heal and help yourself grow. I do oracle readings, but my honey's, I don't know, I leave the psychic stuff to him mostly, but I do them as well.
Thank
So
you.
you can find me on Facebook at Mystic Norms, NORMZ. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for listening. And we'll see you next time. Much love.
Much love, y'all.